What happens right before death? Vertical bar part 1. Imagine this. You have exactly 60 seconds left to live. Not a day, not an hour, just 60 seconds. Your heart is slowing down. Your body is beginning to shut down. And death is standing just around the corner. But then, something strange happens. Something scientists still struggle to fully explain. Some people who came close to death claim they watched their entire life replay in front of them. Every memory, every mistake, every victory, every person they ever loved, all flashing by in what felt like a single moment. Others say they were floating above their own bodies, watching doctors work on them, listening to conversations they shouldn't have been able to hear. And some describe something even stranger, a long tunnel, a brilliant light, a feeling of peace unlike anything they had ever experienced before. Now here's the truly unsettling part. These stories come from people all over the world, different countries, different religions, different cultures, and yet many of them describe remarkably similar experiences. Coincidence, hallucination, or something else entirely? Because death may not happen the way most of us imagine. Most people think that when the heart stops, everything instantly goes dark. The end, silence, nothing. But modern science suggests the story may be far more complicated. In recent years, researchers have discovered evidence that the brain doesn't immediately shut down when the heart stops beating. In fact, for a brief period of time, it may become even more active. Think about that for a moment. Imagine a city losing power. You would expect every light to slowly fade away. But what if, right before the blackout, every light in the entire city suddenly became brighter than ever? That may be surprisingly close to what happens inside the human brain. In a groundbreaking study, scientists observed something astonishing. Some of them reached levels associated with intense awareness, memory processing, and conscious thought. It was as if the brain was making one final effort, one final burst of activity, one final attempt to do something important. But what? That's where the mystery begins. Some researchers believe the brain may start rapidly accessing its most important memories, important faces, important moments, important experiences, almost like a massive archive being opened all at once. And that could explain why some people report seeing their entire life flash before their eyes, their childhood, their first friend, their first love, their greatest success, their deepest regret, everything compressed into mere seconds. But that is only the beginning, because what comes next is even stranger. Thousands of people around the world have reported what scientists call a near-death experience, or NDE. These are people who were clinically dead for a short period of time, yet somehow came back, and many of them tell eerily similar stories. Stories that continue to puzzle researchers to this day. Some say they left their bodies. Some say they watched events happening around them. Others describe traveling through darkness toward an incredibly bright light, a light that felt welcoming, peaceful, almost impossible to resist. So what are these experiences? Are they evidence of something beyond death? Or are they simply the final illusions created by a dying brain? The truth is, no one knows for sure, and that uncertainty is exactly what makes this one of the greatest mysteries in science. We'll explore what scientists believe may be causing these experiences. We'll examine the tunnel, the light, the out-of-body experiences, and the disturbing question that still has no definitive answer. Does your entire life really flash before your eyes before death? And if it does, why would your brain do that in the first place? Is it really true that right before death, your entire life flashes before your eyes? And if it does, why would the brain do something like that? This is where the story becomes even more mysterious, because some scientists believe it may not be a random explosion of memories at all. It could be the brain's final attempt to save you. Think about it. If your life were in immediate danger, what would be the most important thing your brain could access? New information? No. Future plans? No. The most valuable thing would be your past experiences, because hidden inside those memories are survival strategies. Lessons learned, mistakes avoided, moments that once kept you alive. Some researchers believe that in its final moments, the brain may scan through an entire lifetime of information at incredible speed, as if it's searching for something, a solution, an escape, a way out. But what happens when there is no way out? That's when some of the strangest reports begin. Many people who came close to death describe something unexpected, not fear, not panic, not pain, but peace, a deep and overwhelming sense of peace. The fear disappears. The panic fades away. Even the pain seems to lose its grip, leaving behind only calm, a calm so profound that many struggle to describe it afterward. Scientists believe this may be linked to powerful chemicals released by the body during extreme stress. When the body enters a life-threatening situation, it can release large amounts of endorphins and other neurochemicals. These substances reduce pain. They can create feelings of comfort, even feelings of euphoria. But one question still remains. If all of this is simply chemistry, why do so many people tell such similar stories? Why do so many describe traveling through a tunnel? Why do so many report seeing a brilliant light? Why do so many feel as if they have left their bodies? This is the point where science and mystery collide. Some researchers argue that the tunnel effect may have a biological explanation. As the brain begins losing oxygen, they described events that actually happened around them. Some recalled conversations between doctors. Others described details inside hospital rooms, details they seemingly had no way of seeing. Were these coincidences, fragments of memory, or something else entirely? The truth is, nobody knows. And the more scientists learn, the deeper the mystery becomes. Perhaps the most surprising discovery of all is that death is not a single moment. It is a process, a sequence of events unfolding over time. First, the heart stops, then oxygen levels begin to fall, then the brain slowly starts to change, and during that process, countless things happen inside the human body that we still don't fully understand. Maybe that's why the question of death has fascinated humanity for thousands of years. Kings, philosophers, scientists, mystics, every generation has asked the same question. What happens in the final moments? But perhaps the most interesting part of this story isn't what we see when we die. Maybe it's what we see while we're alive, because no matter how mysterious death may be, one truth remains. Our time is limited. Some get more, some get less, but nobody gets forever. And perhaps that's exactly what makes life so valuable. Maybe that's why we dream, why we fall in love, why we build friendships, why we create families, why we collect memories. Because somewhere deep down, we know our time won't last forever. And maybe, just maybe, right before death, the brain reminds us of that. It reminds us that our lives were never measured in years. They were measured in moments, the moments that shaped us, changed us, defined us. So what really happens right before death? The honest answer is simple. Science still doesn't know. But what we do know is this: the final moments of life are far more mysterious than we ever imagined. And perhaps that is the most astonishing part of all.